All right, guys, what's going on? So this is April 28th. Today's Tuesday. One trade on stream today. Price action was really interesting overnight. We actually sold off. If you look in the top left of my screen, this was Asia and London straight down, right? Amidst this really bullish market where we're making all-time highs. This is the most bearish overnight price action we had seen all month long, right? NQ had fully rebalanced this fresh daily FVG, which I actually outlined as a draw. Okay, so if I pull this up, I posted this at 8:10 a.m. Central. So this is about 20 minutes before the open today. I published my draw on liquidity and my analysis, and I said I think we're going to draw down toward Friday's low, 26992. Why? Because we actually didn't have a daily wick on that candle. Okay, so this is Friday, April 24th. We opened, and that open was actually low of day on Friday in Asia. So there was no wick there. That's a form of imbalance in the market, right? A healthy candle typically has a lower wick and upper wick. This candle didn't have that, so that was my draw. Now at the open, we watched price manipulate up to start the session, right? With all of this noise right here, we tapped into a daily premium, and then we also tapped our fresh 15-minute bearish gap. Okay, all of these reaction factors, these delivery factors told me to look for shorts, right, in confirmation with my draw. So I had my draw being Friday's low down there. I had my delivery being daily premium, 15-minute FVG. And as we can see, the market was actually giving a lot of lower highs, confirming this bias. Now, there were some setups that did present themselves. This 1 minute inversion here, I told you guys on stream, I'm going to stay out. It just doesn't align with my bias. We did have New York high right there, and I had some people asking, well, why don't we just go long off this inversion here to target New York high? New York high, it's not the strongest draw. If I'm going to go against my bias, which is still profitable sometimes, I need a really obvious draw, like equal highs or a fresh FVG, something of that nature, which we didn't have. So I stayed out of that. We did watch the market make these lower highs and slowly sell off here. I believe there's also another 30-second long somewhere in this area right here, which I also said, a lot of IFVG traders, they're going to take this and get stopped out. And what happened? Well, they got stopped out, right? Because a trading system is so much more than just an entry model. So these IFVG traders, they're lacking context. They're lacking higher time frame narrative, which is, more important to me than just the entry D, D, and then E. So draw and delivery first, right? We did begin to sell off here, right? As we drew down toward New York low, which was right here, and then low of day here formed pre-market in conjunction with, again, Friday's low being the draw. Now, I always refer to a draw on liquidity as a magnet that pulls price down. It doesn't need to be hit or pulls price up, but in this instance, it pulls price down. Doesn't need to be hit. Okay, that's not where we're taking profit at most of the time. That is just the draw pulling the market down. Okay, so we had a lot of factors going on here, and specifically, as we drew down, we actually had a fresh 15-minute FVG get tapped. So as you guys know, higher time frame gaps, FVGs, are just lower time frame swing highs and swing lows. So this 1 minute swing high here aligned with this fresh 15-minute bearish gap. That is a really strong delivery factor. When we create an FVG like this on the 15-minute, I have a bearish bias, and then we tap that. That's really good for what I want to see as far as a move that precedes distribution, right? So a couple things were going on here. So 30-second chart is on my right. If I go back in time a little bit, we had a 1 minute gap that got inversed on this candle here. Now this is after we rejected our 15-minute bearish FVG. I did not take this because we had actually tapped this lower 30-second gap. That invalidated the trade for me. Okay, so this 1 minute close, yes, it was a nice IFVG, but that aligns with this 30-second candle, which had actually just tapped this fresh bullish gap. I don't want there to be a reason for price to stop me out other than probability. But when we tap a fresh opposing bullish FVG when I'm trying to go short, I'm going to stay out. So I didn't get that entry, right? I remained patient, and instead I said, okay, 1 minute has cleared off what it needed to. I just need this 30-second gap to be inversed, which we got on this candle here. This was my final confirmation to go short. Keep in mind, this is over an hour and a half into the New York session, right? This was just after 11 a.m. Eastern, which is atypical for my strategy. I'm typically done within the first 45 minutes, but I took this short. I got a bit of a retracement entry, which you'll see. I got 6625 as my average, so almost no drawdown at all. And I'll actually chop some of these candles off so there's no more noise. But 6625 average, right? Stop just within this 30-second order block, and an exit. You guys know I scalp at this lower bullish 30-second gap, right? So getting about 20 points, just over 1-to-1 risk to reward on this trade, right? I always de-risk or take profit at fresh opposing FVGs, and this trade this trade played out beautifully, right? We entered, price went straight down. Literally less than a minute, we were in this trade. Okay, so I passed on a lot of bad setups, and a bad setup doesn't mean a setup that gets stopped out. A bad setup just means it's not A+ in draw, delivery, and entry, and there could be a potential reason for stop out other than probability. So longs like this, I stayed out of them. I really wanted to preserve my capital until I got a setup that I felt comfortable putting risk on for. And what does that mean? To me, that means I'm willing to take a loss on the setup, right? This setup is such a high quality trade that if it gets stopped out, I'm absolutely fine with that because it's A+. And this was one of those. So I was patient for over an hour and a half on stream, and you guys caught this trade with me. It was absolutely phenomenal, right? Price has continued to draw down toward Friday's low since then, but it's just such a choppy market. Like, I'm so glad we're done trading because this is all chop now. Tomorrow's FOMC, which I think is contributing to that. We don't have any more news. But the benefit of a strategy like mine with scalps and entries being on the 30-second and 1 minute is that we have an A+ setup every single day. Okay, yesterday I actually took a total of 5 trades, 5 scalps. Price action was pretty good. Later in the morning, I won 4 out of 5 of those trades. Today, 1 trade, I won that. My TradeZella stats, these are my TradeZella stats. Okay, I just plugged it in. I've just begun using TradeZella as of last Friday. I used to track everything on a spreadsheet, but now we're here. So, I'm averaging about $3,000 a day on these 20 apexes. 100% win rate last Friday, 80% win rate on Monday, and today, 100% win rate with that one and done beautiful setup. So enjoy this live trading clip. That is that real-time execution. If you guys want to trade live with me, I have a 7-day free trial, absolutely free, no catch, cancel at any time. Link is down in the description. Otherwise, just join my free Discord. Over 2,400 members strong, right? Absolutely free. Still a ton of guides, resources, video tutorials, and a really prosperous community of full-time traders. So enjoy this video, and we will see you in the next video. Bye-bye. Trade would look something like this for me. Yeah. Okay, I'm looking for a retracement. Just want a bit of a retracement. Okay.
Order filled.
6625 average on the trade. I want to see some distribution down into this fresh lower 30. At 4.8 where I'll get out. Yeah, I'm out. Boom.
Order filled.
Beautiful. Who caught that? Hour and a half. Who caught that? Finally. Nice. Oh my gosh, I love to see it. Let's go. Owen, Soham, Carmelo, Assis, and Morty, Michael, Seabells, Mandy, Benji, congrats. Nice. Luke got it. Ming got it. Let's go. Come on, guys.